you can tell our presidential candidates that. If you can be funny in one sentence, you have my vote. Nah, it doesn't quite work for that. Presidential candidates, Twitter, not the same.
Twitter.
Not the same.
Instagram influencers, authors. It's not the same.
It's not.
It's
really not.
Running the country.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me get our little...
Zen. Now that we're talking politics, you need to get
I need to get
Zen.
I need to get Zen.
Oh, I'm coming off a little bit Zen because I'm coming straight from Bible study.
Bible studies back.
Yeah, the third one. Let's go. This one is no other gods.
Okay, so it has started.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling? Okay, your table's different.
It's full of some of the same people, and then Jen Davis is at my table.
Jen Davis is doing Awaken. Has she ever done any of them?
No.
This is her first one. It's a great one to start on, Jen.
Yeah, no other gods.
Oh.
So she and she said, just put me at any table, any random table is fine, and they put her with me. Yeah,
they knew though. They had to know y'all were friends.
Yeah, I mean, but her whole her point was, I do know people who are doing the Bible study, but I want God to put me where He thinks I should be.
Okay.
And
so
then,
she knows multiple people there.
Yeah, I'm sure Jen knows.
Jen's plugged
that
in.
room. Yeah, exactly.
What am I saying? Of course she does.
Yeah, and then there's another new girl. And then, so I'm excited to get to know her because she's been in Boone for the last some odd years. She's a makeup artist.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And so anyway, I was chatting with her and she seems really great. And then everybody else I've known has been at the table.
Okay.
And Morgan weaseled her way in, even though she graduated and did all 4 studies.
Morgan Amanda.
Yeah, she weaseled her way in here and was like, I'm going to create content, take pictures, but also sit back at this table. I'm like, you can't quit us. And I get it.
That's funny to me.
I get why she can't quit us.
That's funny to me. Well, I haven't been allowed back in. Jeez,
I know,
Louise.
but you're coming to our lunch. And so
it has been 10 years since I've done this.
True. But just know this, how dedicated I am to this here podcast is my entire group is having lunch together right now. And where am I?
You're here.
I'm here with you.
And it's my fault we had to do this on a Tuesday.
It's okay. And I also, hold on. Never mind. I'll just call her. I should be having lunch with Grandma right now. But it's okay. She's already down. She's already down for lunch. I should have called her on the way to Awaken.
She's already down?
Like for lunch. Like she's downstairs in her dining room for lunch. She's down. She usually is down for lunch with me.
Made it sound like she's
fallen.
Like been put down.
No, sorry. No. Jerry's alive and well.
Like, are they putting her
and
to
so it's the Holy Spirit. So...
Like, do they put her down after she eats?
No, no. They put her down for a rest.
Like for a rest.
Yeah, that tryptophan hits.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It sounded like, do they give her a little cuddle?
No, I just feel like she's already down in the dining room, so it doesn't matter if I were to call her and be like, hey, I'm not coming to take you to lunch right now. I'll just call her out.
Yeah. It's giving...
Should have done that on the way. Should have done that on the way.
It's okay. You're a great granddaughter.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes. There should be no guilt.
Yeah.
It's giving Happy Gilmore a little bit. Now that we're saying that, have you seen Happy Gilmore?
I have, but I haven't watched it more than the one time or in 30 years.
You know Ben Stiller. He like runs the old people's home.
No, I know nothing.
Oh gosh. You guys, this is a problem on this podcast. Okay, I'm going to say it. Because there's things I really want to talk about sometimes.
I know.
And it may not even be a movie or a show. It might be just something from childhood. And I'm like, she's not going to remember.
No, I'm not. But you can tell me about it still. And you can tell the podcast. And they're shaking their heads. They're trying to talk back to you, as we hear all the time. They're shouting at the radio or the phone or whatever they're listening to us on. And maybe they want to hear you reminisce about it.
No, the point is for us to giggle about Ben Stiller and the old folks home together.
What I could have told you about Happy Gilmore is that Adam Sandler must have been in it or produced it, because I know that that's his Gilmore Productions, and that there is a golfer.
Yes, you got it. Shooter McGavin.
And yes, Shooter McGavin. And I do say Shooter McGavin, but I didn't know that that's what it was from.
Yes, you do say that. I've heard you say Shooter McGavin.
I had no clue. I couldn't have told you it was from Happy Gilmore.
It's like when you want to say a bad word, but you say, you're in Awaken saying Shooter McGavin.
Instead of saying SHIT, you go Shooter, and then McGavin naturally follows. And is this the one where he runs and runs and runs and then hits the ball really hard?
You got it.
Okay, I have that scene in my brain.
Okay, so you know some things.
But I wouldn't have told you Ben Stiller was in it.
You know the guy that lost his hand to like the alligator bite.
No.
Carl Weathers, I think is the actor's name. Okay. That's all right.
That doesn't sound familiar, but the guy with the small hand in Scary Movie is familiar. I do love that. You know, Scary Movie, when they spoof all the like scary movies that came out, but they make it funny. And there's one guy with like a very tiny hand and someone's falling and he's like, take the small hand. It's the strong one. That's all I know.
That's all you got from there.
Well, there's actually a few really good lines in that movie. When they're in the movie theater and they're all watching one of the scary movies and the girl is like talking on her phone, eating like very loudly.
Yes.
And someone's like, can you shut up? And she's like, I bought a ticket just like everybody else up in here. And I say that too.
You say that too. So the things that are sticking are
one-liners.
The phrases that you're using in your daily.
Yeah, little phrases, little one-liners. But the general plot or actors or actresses
has gone missing.
Correct. Correct.
Correct.
I can't stop.
You can't stop.
The toast says it like that. They say correct. And I say correct a lot anyway.
You do. And I've started saying correct because you say correct.
I know. Well,
it's better than saying right.
Well, and let me distinguish this for everybody.
Yeah.
So the difference between right and wrong and incorrect and correct is right and wrong is morals, character.
You're right.
Correct and incorrect is something that has a black and white answer.
Yes.
So if we're talking about grammar, let's say, right, and I'm going correct. See, it's confusing.
Yes.
It's confusing. But if I'm talking about something, a stop sign, we all stop at a stop sign. Is that correct or incorrect? You would use correct or incorrect there because that has a definite answer.
Yeah, you wouldn't say, is that right or wrong? Because that's giving morals.
Exactly. And so the stop sign is what it is. It's telling you to stop. So that is this correct or incorrect? If you were to say, you know, should you... like something morally, I don't know. Should you do blah, blah, blah? And it's like, well, is it right or wrong? Is it right or wrong?
Should you go on a run with another guy?
Correct. Because that's black and white. It's a no. No.
It's a no.
But that's the distinction between the two. And people oftentimes use right or wrong when really they mean correct or incorrect. But I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to not mince. I'm not going to get into the weeds about this guy.
Yes.
Because it's still going to be contradictory. I am sometimes still going to say correct when really it could be right. And I'm still going to say right when it should be correct. And that's okay.
So the point is, you've been on the correct train. Let's add that. Maybe way before the toast was ever doing correct.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
I know.
I think you can feel okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm just trying not to pick up their mannerisms. I mean, when you put out an episode every day, you are in people's psyches.
I mean, it's smart. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. We're trying to bust out 2 a week, and it feels like a lot.
Yeah, we're bust down Tatiana.
Oh, God.
We will be.
We will be.
We will be. Excited.
Okay. We did some things.
Yeah.
This past weekend.
Yes, we did.
You did a lot.
I
did a lot. But it all started Friday night. We went to see Giggly Squad.
We went to see Giggly Squad with, the Summer House girls. Paige DeSorbo, who is still on the show, and then Hannah Berner, who was on in the early season.
Yeah, several seasons she was on. And they have a podcast together called Giggly Squad, which I think is the perfect name.
So good.
Because similar to us, like, if they're there to giggle.
They are there to giggle.
Nothing there is serious.
No.
I mean, everything is alleged.
And Hannah's a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
So, like, it is, and Paige is naturally funny.
Oh, she is.
Just naturally funny. Her one-liners.
She's got the gift of gab.
She does.
She really does.
And the gift of giggles.
So we were excited to go see them. We went with a friend of yours that you have known. Brooke.
Jenkins.
I guess we don't have to give her last name, but Brooke Jenkins.
Oh, sorry.
In case you are listening now, because you weren't prior to our dinner and our time together.
No, she wasn't.
But we did get her to subscribe while we were at dinner.
We took her phone from her. And we made her follow us and listen and subscribe and do all the things. And y'all can do that with anyone's phone in your possession. Just go ahead and take it.
Yeah.
Set them up for automatic downloads. And then at least it will pop up and it might, I was going to say tickle their taint.
Yeah.
But it might titillate them is what I was going to say. And you can bleep that out if you need to. But it might titillate them just enough to press play one time. They'll fall in love and they'll listen forever.
It's the truth. You go to dinner with your girlfriends, take all their phones.
Round them up.
Round them up.
You can lie to them. You can say, I'm taking all the phones because we don't want to be distracted. But instead, you're going to go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah.
And then you don't give it back and then still stay undistracted and just have a great conversation like we did at Stagioni.
Okay, let's talk about this restaurant. Let's talk about our time there.
So good.
First of all, delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
The food is bomb at Stagioni. I talked about it from our anniversary night and now back again because I couldn't stop thinking of that garganelli pasta.
That pasta,
so good.
It was not just the flavor. Something we made note of is the shape of the pasta.
Of the noodle.
Makes a difference in how it tastes. Now, we've already covered tortellini. We don't need to go there again.
We don't need to rehash tortellini.
But I do feel that the pasta, it was kind of a large tubed pasta.
But it's not a ziti.
It's not.
It's not a rotini.
It's not a penne.
And it's not a penne.
No.
Rotini? Is that correct? Why is that? Rigatoni.
Linguine. Yeah. Fettuccine.
Bucatini. It's not that. It's like, it's shaped like a seashell.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
But it's open in the middle and it has ridges on the middle outside.
It's the ridges.
And that's what picks up the sauce. And it's a lemony sauce, y'all. It's a white wine, lemon, Parmesan cheese, spinach sauce.
So you can feel like you're having a full-blown pasta dish, but it's not so heavy.
No, there's no cream in here.
You're not going to walk out of it feeling puffed up, feeling too full. And they give you just the right amount.
Just the right amount. And we split it because Kristen said, hey, if I get the filet, would you split that with me and give me half your pasta? I said, absolutely. In this filet.
Ooh, baby.
Perfection.
It was soft.
Oh.
It was soft. It was melting in our mouths. It was a little crusty.
Seared perfectly on the outside. Just that crust. It got a great crust. Perfect flavoring. Not too much. Not too little.
It was great.
Perfectly cooked.
And good with that pasta, I feel.
Great with the pasta. I ate it in 2 minutes and 11 seconds, I think.
You did.
I did not take a breath. I said, you talk amongst yourselves.
We did.
I'm ready to eat.
Yeah, normally I feel like you're the one talking.
Yeah, no.
But you just took a pause on the talking. You didn't have a lot to say.
Nope.
And you ate the pasta and the steak.
And it was so good. I had finished by the time you had maybe cut 2 pieces off of yours.
Yeah.
And I was done. I was so hungry and it was so delicious. I just didn't want to delay at all. I didn't want to slow play it.
Well, and you want it to be warm. You want it to stay warm. Let's talk about the people watching at that restaurant.
Incredible.
Wow. Okay, I am not. You are at least, I'll say, more in the mix of like Myers Park people.
I am.
And who's over there and the who's who.
Well, my kids went to Myers Park. Go to Myers Park.
Go to Myers Park.
I work out in Myers Park.
You work out over there. Like, you've got friends over there. Yeah. I'm not in the mix at Myers Park.
No.
Okay. I came home and told Matt, I was like, what's so funny to me is you could there's a restaurant here in downtown Matthews called Portrait Gallery. You've been there. It's a really cute, great restaurant.
Great food.
Great food, great cocktails.
Sponsor us.
I said, please sponsor us, Portrait Gallery.
Please.
I said, you could take Portrait Gallery right next to this, what's it called again?
Stagioni.
Stagioni. And the 2 groups of people that are in that restaurant look wildly different.
Absolutely. I can see that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes.
You walk in. Correct. So you go into this Myers Park restaurant.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
Who are these people? It smells like money.
It feels like money.
It feels like money.
It looks like
and it looks like money. And it sounds like money.
Oh, yeah. And every person who walks in knows another person
that
in the
was
restaurant.
It for me. All of them. It was like, oh, it's the surgeon's like financial investor. And they both happen to be here tonight. And let's shake hands and hug. And then the wives hug. And both the wives are really toned. And they're very thin. But they have on very expensive jeans. And one's got on like a $400 dress from Farm Rio. Yeah. I am telling you.
Yes.
It was like a Wealth Whispers kind of moment.
It was. It was definitely Wealth Whispers there. That is exactly what is happening. And then there was us.
And then there was us. Looking as slutty as we have in a really long time.
It's the shortest skirt I've worn in a very long time. And yours was,
it was very short.
It was extremely short. And I asked for that.
Now, mine does have shorts underneath.
Okay.
It does.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so the hoo-ha wasn't going to be fully out.
No.
But
it was short.
And I had on a sheer shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is, we walk in here and it was like a record scratching.
We were dressed for that because it was Club Giggly. We were supposed to be going
correct
to Club Giggly. That's what this was promoted at, and we haven't talked promoted as. We haven't talked about this at all. We haven't debriefed from the night to get like our feelings about it after the fact.
We haven't debriefed,
but because it was billed as Club Giggly. These are young, fun girls and everything. Yes. We were dressed like we were going to the club.
We were dressed like Gen Z.
Yeah, and trying to take pictures like Gen Z too.
We we came into the night, the mind frame was, we are young, we are
young.
fun, we are decentering men.
We are hip.
And we are hip. Brooke came in. The first thing out of her mouth was, I'm decentering my husband. I'm decentering men.
I'm decentering men. And I was like, oh my God, did y'all divorce? Like, is something going on? She's like, no, why would you say that? I'm like, I'm okay, sorry.
We just didn't know.
I didn't know.
But it did. I mean, honestly, I think she was spot on
set up the night.
For the night.
It set up the night for sure. Yes.
So anyway, you guys, if you want to go people watch, if you want to feel poor, go to this restaurant. The food was fantastic. You will have an excellent time. Our waitress was amazing. She brought us a free dessert. That was good too.
She thought she took too long to come get to us. And I was like, no, you didn't. She said, I'm giving you a free dessert. It took too long. I was like, it really wasn't. But it was a berry panna cotta. Oh boy,
y'all!
It was really good.
We toe into that. That was great
with a pistachio shortbread.
Yep. Oh, and were those slivers of almonds?
Yes, it was slivers of almonds. It was so good. The food at Stagioni is just second to none.
We ran into my old functional doctor.
We did. So we ran into your doctor. So you did know someone there.
I did know someone. Now he was just getting takeout.
Yeah.
But I was like, of course he is. This feel like this tracks for Dr. Jorge.
Yes,
he was getting takeout, but I was dying laughing because as we ran into him, we are in the back alleys taking Gen Z photos.
Which
she's touching a brick.
Yeah. If you don't know what a Gen Z photo is, Kristen has finally figured out how you achieve these pictures. Because what happened? You were seeing these everywhere.
Okay, y'all need to listen up here. Okay? If you're ready to feel young and vibrant, you need to listen up.
Yeah.
Okay. I did start to notice. I started to notice on the Gen Z photos, and I started to notice in the Charlie XCX songs.
Okay.
That she would almost describe how to do it. She would describe what that girl, the it girl, who's in New York, and she's New York City's darling, and she's wearing a sheer white dress, and she's dropping it down low with the flash on. She's describing it.
That's what, so Kristen thought to think, as she was listening, she said, wait, is Charlie XCX saying that this is how we achieve these super young, hip, cool photos? You drop it down low with the flash on.
Yep.
So Kristen's exact words to me in this back alley of Stagioni while we were waiting for Brooke to arrive, she said, I'm going to take some Gen Z photos of you. You're going to look very cool. And what I'm going to need you to do is you're going to bend down and touch that brick. Those were her exact words. I want you to bend over and touch that brick. And I was like, you mean like this? Like just kind of bent and touching. Then I bent down my knees and was like, ugh. And she was like, perfect. Couldn't have asked for better. I'm like, are we sure about this?
And I was like, keep moving. Yeah. We're not posing. We're not staying still anymore.
No.
Still is out.
Still is out. Movement is in.
Movement's in. Flash is in.
Flash is on.
And you almost like want to
look chaotic.
Look a mess.
Yeah.
Be chaotic.
Be brat.
Be brat. And your photographer, whoever that is, if it's your husband, make sure they are just clicking. We are going one after the other because
rapid fire.
I got to take 10 rapid fire photos to get that one perfect shot.
One good shot. And you did it.
I did it.
You figured it out.
How good was that post I put up?
So good. And you know what? Lily was sitting next to me and she goes, why does this look like a teenager's phone? Why does this look like a teenager's post?
Yeah.
And I was like, because Kristen figured out what Gen Z has been doing.
Yes, I sure did.
And she was like, okay, y'all need to do less.
I'm sure Lily was like, please stop. Yeah. We are going to immediately make this uncool.
Oh, absolutely. Just like J-Lo did.
Just like J-Lo and Demure.
Yeah.
But the millennials, we are hip to y'all's game is what I'm trying to say.
Because Charlie said it in a lyric. And if you want to be pissed at anyone, be pissed at her.
That's her fault.
Not at us for finally doing it. Be pissed at her for telling us how to do it. Y'all thought you were all going to gatekeep this from us.
No.
Not when this one is free basing that album.
Correct. You're correct. So anyway, it was a delight to snag these photos.
It was great.
And realize this is working. And
I never felt more hip.
Yeah. And so Brooke got in on it. She was taking her brat photos too. I was taking pictures of girls in line.
Yeah. Traffic.
We were out on Independence Boulevard taking photos. It was fantastic. If you haven't seen, go to our Instagram. You guys will spot it.
And go. Yeah, you can't miss these photos. They look different than every other one we've ever posted and shared. So you really, truly can't miss it.
So, okay, let's talk about that. When we were waiting in line
Yes.
out on Independence Boulevard.
We truly were, because they did 2 shows Friday night. So they had like maybe a 7:30 and a 9:30. So then they were waiting for the 7:30 to get out before we could go in. And that line at Ovens is wrapping down and around. And then you are right on 74.
Yeah.
There's not a barrier. There's nothing. And so one slip and you're getting hit.
You're being put down.
Yeah, you. Yes, you're being put down like Jerry.
Like Jerry.
Yeah.
Right now. No, it was the line was long, but it was fine. Everybody
moved fast.
It moved fast once they opened up the doors.
Yeah.
But we were watching that kind of marquee. It was flashing shows that were coming. It was flashing, showing ads for different things.
Yeah.
And some of it was making us giggle. But do you remember our new jingle that you came up with?
No.
Okay. Y'all know that we have given you Jason DiGiorno.
Jason DiGiorno. And what about UTTS? What about all the pretzels and cheese balls at parties?
Okay,
you
so
know, we could do pink, and there's Buble already took bubbly, and that was fine, and I wanted that too. But there's another one.
It's Rooms to Go.
Rooms to Go. Okay, I remember us talking about Rooms to Go.
And who do you love right now?
Who do I love right now is Chapel Roan.
Rooms to Go.
Instead of Hot to Go, HOTTOGO. Why isn't it going ROOMST go? We can to go. We'll furnish your bedroom. Why is someone not tapping into this?
Rooms to Go with Chapel
Hot
Roan.
to Go.
I can't.
I don't know that Chapel wants to. Maybe she views that as like a sellout situation.
I think it would be a sellout for her right now, but I think her in 25 years when she's still looking for the coins.
Yeah.
And maybe things aren't coming in like they used to, she is going to reach out to Rooms to Go.
Was Rooms to Go an ad on there? I think
was.
Kathy Ireland was in the ad.
Kathy Ireland was in the ad.
She has that furniture line at Rooms to Go. And I was like, I've bought some of Kathy Ireland's furniture line. And somehow it got us to Hot to Go.
Hot to Go.
Rooms to Go.
You can
That's
add
smart.
that to your checklist of celebrity endorsements that you think should happen.
There's more. And I need to start writing them down. And I really do think I should contact UTTS on behalf of Pink.
What about UTTS? I mean,
so good.
So good.
What about all the cheese balls you could have at parties? What about UTTS? The crispiest pretzels in the bag, you know it. Like, that just is, it writes itself. And I can't believe no one's doing this yet.
Didn't Michelle tell us that?
Yes, she knows the UTTS family.
But
EWtz.
They call it EWtz?
Yeah. It's actually EWtz.
That's absolutely not for me.
Yeah, and so for me,
I'm going to call that incorrect.
Yeah, you can. I think it's wrong. So,
I think it's wrong.
Because morally, it is wrong to say that. At this point, we've just all committed to UTTS. It's kind of like when we all committed to VRBO, and then they tried to say it's actually Verbo. And I'm like, but it's an acronym. Like, you guys started the acronym, Vacation Rentals by Owner.
Verbo.
We know that means we
VRBO.
use the acronym, we use the first letter of the thing. But now you're trying to make Verbo a thing, but why did you do this to us this way?
How could you do this to me? Question mark.
How could you just do me? Question mark. So that's on y'all. Don't be mad at us if we're struggling to come around. Well, and I take UTTS the same way.
EWtz is giving ew.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why would you want ew in your food name?
I think this is how they're pronouncing the family's last name. Family's last name, Michelle said, was EWtz, and she went to school with like the EWtz family or the pretzel family, the conglomerate. I don't know. But for me, it was just kind of like, even if they are, I would still stick with UTTS because I think it sounds better, and I would still get Pink on the line.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, I'm glad we covered that. Okay, so we go into the show, and we get ourselves a little drink. Mm-hmm. We are seated. We had great seats.
Good
job, ladies.
We paid a pretty penny for them, so they should be good.
Yeah, they were good. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the show?
Well,
you wanna actually talk about this?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do want to talk about this,
and we might feel similarly.
Okay, I hope we do.
Do you remember the girl that came up to us, and it was Mary, Gigi's friend, and I introduced y'all? It was very quick. Your brain may not even remember. She had similar thoughts. So we are not alone.
Okay, so, and I hope that we do align on this, and just based on your eyes. I feel like we do. And this is constructive. If this ever gets back to them, this is for me. I'm just trying to be constructive. And as someone who we have hosted live events and we want to do something similar to this.
Yes.
It was for us. We learned a lot.
Oh, it was absolutely like research for
we went into it. That's why it was a business write-off.
It was a write-off.
It was a write-off.
The government paid for that.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I did. I said, we will come in here. We will learn.
Yes.
We will take things we like from this. We will take things maybe we don't like from it. And we will figure out what to do in the future.
Correct. So again, this was billed as Club Giggly.
Yeah.
Everywhere was Club Giggly. You got your tickets. It's a picture of Paige and Hannah looking like they're at a club.
Yeah.
There are disco balls behind.
Yeah.
You get the music's going to be going and everything. And you're going to walk in and be so hyped.
Yes.
And then that is going to stay. That level of hype and fun and energy is going to stay because it's Club Giggly.
Club Giggly.
It wasn't a live podcast recording.
Yes, I think that's important to note.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it was not a live podcast recording because
No.
Matt did ask that. We went and saw Watch What Crappens.
And it was a live podcast
And that
recording.
was a live recording. Ben and Ronnie were on stage. They had their headsets, their microphones, and that got released.
And we understood that going into it, that it was a
Yes.
live podcast recording. And so that made sense, right?
Yeah.
That you kind of have to be a little bit quiet. You can't be shouting back and forth.
Yeah.
But this was billed as Club Giggly. Come have a girls' night out at Club Giggly.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we walked in, it was like,
Yeah, it was more like
Calm.
you were sitting for like a orchestra symphony.
yeah, for any other show you'd go to at Ovens, it was just very chill.
Chill.
And we took our seats, and I noticed that like there might have been a song playing, but it certainly wasn't like, you know, the lights are down low and there's strobe and there's pumping and there's, you know, all the energy. None of that was happening. And so I made note of that. That was interesting. And then the girls come out on stage.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple introduction.
Yeah.
Here's Paige and here's Hannah. And then they just kind of walk out and everyone's like, okay.
Clapping on
I'm like, are we standing?
one and
the
three.
1 and 3s.
It was 1 and 3s.
And I was like, are we standing? Are we not standing? Like, are people supposed to be doing that or not? Okay, no. Okay, go.
Yeah, because you stood.
I did.
That's right.
I thought you were, I'm like, yeah, like we're getting
She
hyped.
stood. And so I looked at you and I could see the sea of people and there were like 10 others that stood.
So I was like, okay, guess I'll sit back down.
So then it was as you sat.
And so they sit down and they go, we are going to bring up slides on the screen. And these are going to be things that give us anxiety, but maybe shouldn't. And if you can relate, then clap. And I was like, well, that's okay. It could be heavy. All right. Things that give us anxiety, and clap if you all have anxiety. Is this Club Giggly? Like, okay. But I thought maybe it'll be funny. Like, it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
And so some of them were just silly, funny things. And it's like, okay.
And that's the thing. This is what I would say about Paige and Hannah is they are funny girls. They are so funny. Just on their own, bare bones. They truly can just sit in a couple chairs and just make people laugh.
And so they did several of those bits.
Yeah, there were different kind of bits about, men and nail polish colors and, just different things. And there were, again, so many funny moments. They brought the guy on stage.
Yeah, they were like, does he suck? They had like a bit about picking a guy out of the audience and they're going to grill him and then we're all going to decide if he sucks.
Oh, yeah. Is he trash?
Is he trash? Yeah. Is he trash? Yeah. And those had some funny moments because you didn't know what he was going to say.
Yes, that was unpredictable.
That was unpredictable. And then he came off the stage and I think they said one or two more lines and then they said, okay, bye. And and then they walked off stage and there was no club to be found. And I just was
Did you feel overdressed?
Yeah, I did feel overdressed, by the way. I mean, so much so that Brooke, who came with us, she had leggings underneath her hot pink pants, shimmery pink pants. She just took them off in her seat, put on a sweatshirt she brought with her.
She literally in her seat,
was like, I'm gonna get comfy.
In the auditorium, took off her sparkle pants and put on a sweatshirt and was like, I'm ready to hit the hay.
Yeah, she's like, I'm good because she was like, because this way if I fall asleep in the seat, I'll already be comfortable.
Yeah, she was like ready to go.
I was like,
hot to go some nights.
And that was it. And I think the DJ, whoever the sound engineer was, I think he started to play a song.
Yeah, he played a song, but then the house lights came on.
The house lights on and everything. And I was just like, what is? I was just very surprised based on what it was billed as.
Yeah.
And what the pictures and the promotions.
Yes.
But what it did is it made me realize that one day when we do this, that messaging is so important from the jump.
That's it. I mean, it's whatever the expectation is of people who are walking in there. And maybe it should be, we're going to record a podcast and you guys are going to watch. I mean, we're talking about doing this on the cruise.
Yeah.
And I'm taking mental notes going, what do people want? I mean, I think that's really what I'm thinking about. What do people want?
I think it's a messaging problem.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that we didn't laugh a lot. We absolutely laughed a lot because Hannah and Paige are both so funny individually and together. And so if you got tickets to Giggly Squad, just know going into it, there is not a club feel. Yeah. It's demure.
It's demure.
It's cutesy.
And it's mindful.
And it is mindful. And I wasn't prepared for that. I definitely felt like we were the most overdressed people. And maybe everyone else knew. That's why they were all in jeans and sweats. Maybe they all knew.
Well, I do think that, if we're going to continue to take Gen Z photos, we need to just wear baggy jeans and like an old tank top because that we did see a lot of that. It was interesting when they did ask in the beginning, who here is a millennial and who here is Gen Z? And it was mostly Gen Z. I found that to be very interesting.
And maybe they love that. Maybe it's a show for them more than is a show for us.
Maybe that's what it is. Like our age is showing and our expectations.
Okay, well then I guess it is because maybe we were going to the club. And we miss it.
We miss the club.
And
it was a Friday night.
We look for any excuse to just have a good time. But maybe Gen Z's already having all these fun times. And this was just chill.
They just want to chill.
Sure, maybe.
Well, what is Gen Z even doing in the clubs? Do they go to clubs? Do they even care?
I don't freaking know what they're doing. But they're taking pictures with flash on.
They're dropping it low.
And touching a brick. Anyway, what are your two things?
Okay, so...
Or did you have anything else to say about Giggly Squad? Or did we feel similarly as what you're saying?
We felt similarly. Okay. So did Mary. I think it was just kind of like, oh, this was really a much different vibe than what I was sold.
Okay, well, we had not discussed that at all.
I know.
We agree.
Yeah. I had a feeling that you did.
Uh-huh.
And I did. I came home and told Matt because he wanted to. And I said, again, like we learned so much. And guess what? One day we might do shows and fall flat on our arse. And
it might not hit. People might walk out and complain too and say.
And it's going to be a flop. But I will just maybe in the middle of that be like, this is a flop. Like, let's change it up.
DJ, sound engineer, plug in your phone, put it right to the microphone, and let's just dance it out.
Let's start over.
Yeah, let's try again. Let's make sure our mouth is lining up with the words. You have to do that one eventually.
Oh,
okay.
I do. Okay.
That's number one.
Okay, number one. You know what? Both of mine have to do with scams.
Oh, scam? Who's scamming?
Scamming. Okay, one is a scamming update.
Okay.
And the scamming update has to do with Don and Pam and their days in Amway.
Oh, so they did do Amway?
That's right.
What?
I do not care.
That's right.
Because I do care.
Because we do care.
Yes.
Don and Pam, my recollection was they had been told about Amway and they decided not to do it. Now, part of that memory is correct, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
But no, they did it.
Oh, they full-blown did it. They signed up. They bought all the stuff.
They full-blown did it. So we were down at the beach for Labor Day, and we were sitting at a restaurant one evening having dinner, and it got brought up, and they had listened to that episode. And Mom was like, oh, we did Amway. We did it. You'll find this interesting. So my parents got married. My mom was 18 when they got married. My dad was 21, I believe. He was at NC State.
Yes, he was. Go Pack.
Yeah. So they lived in married student housing at NC State.
Wait, they had married student housing? Do they still have married student housing?
I don't know, but these places were not good.
Oh boy, what do you mean not good?
So
was everyone swinging?
No, not swinging, but just infested. Gross. Like just not good. And it truly, I don't even want to say like studio apartment because it's not giving that, but it all was one room. Like the kitchen is right next to the pull-out bed. I think it was a sofa that turned into a bed. That's what they slept on.
Oh my goodness.
Everything was in one room. It was old. This was the 70s. It was bad. Okay. But someone comes to them and this guy and says, y'all should do Amway. you can make money. You can get out of this student housing. You can sell all kinds of lotions and potions. My mom said it was like detergent, cleaners.
He's like, you need it in this dump. You need to clean all this up and you can sell it.
Shoe polish.
Oh, yeah. It's everything. It's every like household item.
Y'all, all kinds of things. And so my parents get sucked into this.
They did.
And so this is
do they remember what they initially had to pay to buy in or any of those sorts of details?
I don't know if they remember that.
Okay.
They didn't say, but I mean, again, it's the 70s, so it probably wasn't much.
Yeah, but he's in school.
I know.
She's 18. How much can they possibly be making?
I mean, so bad. And so they said they would they would go. Okay, the first weird thing they would have people do is they would go on dreaming drives. A dreaming drive means you get in your car, I think with your sponsor.
Yeah. And with
you,
your upline.
Yeah, with your upline. And you drive around to rich neighborhoods.
This is so wild.
And you dream together.
Oh my gosh.
You dream.
That is so awkward.
I would want to live here. Oh, I love that house. Oh, I would love to have a pool in the backyard. Just dreaming away.
So it's manifesting.
It's manifesting.
But it's called a dream drive.
Dream drive. So Dad said they would do that. The other thing they said is like the people they recruited under them was just, they said, we were in the student housing and it was bad, but it was even worse, the people we were recruiting. We were in back alley, trailer parks, people with not 2 cents to rub together. And their sponsor guy would be like, go meet with these people. They're interested in Amway. And they would go into these trailers and meet with people and draw the diagrams and tell them how much money they're going to make.
They would suck them in.
And they would suck them in. I know.
Oh, no.
I know. Now, my parents did say, too, I think they said there was, there was an older couple who literally they just wanted company. They just wanted to be with people.
Well, that's how a lot of this stuff does start. When you're in an MLM, it's you're finding people, usually women, who are very lonely.
Yeah.
Stay-at-home moms. They've left the workforce and now they need some adult interaction.
Yes.
And so they kind of get sucked in so that they have a sense of belonging, so that there's a community, because ultimately everyone wants a community.
Yeah.
Kids want communities.
Yeah.
Middle schoolers need community. Like everyone wants that. And if it comes with the promise of it could make you rich.
Yes.
Who doesn't want to sign up for that?
And so this older couple, my parents remember very well that, they would visit with them, and it was really never about the sales. I think it was just more.
They just want to hang with Don and Pam.
They wanted to hang with Don and Pam.
Who doesn't?
So it gets to a point where my dad says, I am done with this. Like, this is crazy. We're not making bukus of money.
No.
Probably was starting to feel guilty, I would guess.
Yeah.
But my mom is like, no, we got to stay in. So my mom, Pam, continues her journey without Dad.
Whoa.
She is like, no, I'm going to keep doing this. We're going to succeed.
She's not a quitter.
I know. And I do appreciate the grind and the hustle.
She does love a grind and a hustle.
So she said there was a convention. It might have been, did she say the Charlotte Coliseum maybe?
That sounds right.
Yeah, there was a convention. Right. So she goes to this convention.
Or it sounds correct.
Correct. She goes, I think alone. I think she goes alone. And she's at this convention and they're getting everybody hype. And they said that they would do chants.
Yeah.
And they would go, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe.
It was like a revival.
I believe. I said, this is dark-sided.
Is that when your mom was like, this is a cult?
I think so.
And it's coming too close to feeling religious-y.
Yes.
But not being religious.
It's giving cult. And so my mom then is like, okay, we're done. Well, they're back at the student housing. Their sponsor comes over and is giving it like one last ditch effort to keep them in the program. Okay?
Yep.
And my mom said clear as day, she remembers he's sitting on their pull-out bed.
Of course.
On the edge of the bed talking to them. And a roach crawls over his shoe.
And she's like, your cleaning products suck, bro. They're not working.
Crawls over his shoe and under the bed. And he was like, well, it's time to go.
Bye. He's like, so yeah, I guess this isn't very effective. Yeah. Amway cleans all it doing what it needs to be doing.
So this roach helped my parents get out of this.
And see, you're so scared of roaches, and look what it did.
I know. And so, honestly, thank you, Roach. You were doing the Lord's work. I mean, it could have been a divine roach.
And maybe it was.
I think
After this revival, maybe it was.
After the revival, he said, this is dark-sided, this is demonic.
Like, I believe a roach will come. I believe a roach will come and save me from this MLM I've been sucked into.
So this guy, that was it. He left them alone. But okay, so what I was remembering, that I guess I had just overheard my parents talk about years later. So I think Lauren and I are born, and my parents are really heavily involved in our church. My dad was very into the music ministry. Mm-hmm. And so I won't say which church, but a very prominent church music minister, an orthodontist that my parents had gone to, said, hey, y'all do music at your church. I'm hooked up with, the music minister at this church. You should come and we'll talk about ideas for the music ministry. So Dad goes, and there's a few people in the room. He goes, one evening, the music minister stands up. He has a whiteboard.
I thought you were going to say wife beater.
No, not a wife, not a wife beater. Oh God.
I heard wife butt, and I was like, oh my God.
I mean, I guess he could have had one on.
He probably did underneath his dress shirt, but patrons, y'all know. The patrons know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they do. So he has a whiteboard. He stands up, and my dad said he starts drawing the circles. And my dad,
he knew.
My dad knew immediately.
Yep. He was like, exactly I rebuke.
What it was. And I think my dad was like, I stood up and I said, I've done this before. I'm not doing it again.
No.
I gotta go. And he dipped out.
They tried to lure him in, though, with music ministry.
Music ministry.
Y'all,
I said, that is the orthodontist.
Y'all have to be aware of this stuff.
Ooh.
You have to keep your guard up.
That is not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. So it's still giving cult to me. I don't know, but my parents did say, they said there were some top people in this company that were making monies and still are. And are very wealthy, prominent people in Charlotte.
Whoa.
Like names that we maybe would recognize, or like their kids go to, really nice schools or whatever. So
that's crazy.
Pretty shocking stuff.
I can't believe they were in it.
Yeah.
I'm still shook by this.
Yeah.
And they have so much good intel.
Yeah, they do.
And they felt bad signing people up.
I believe. We're just going to do that. If we do a live recording and it sucks.
And it starts to suck.
We're going to start chanting, I believe.
We'll start a revival, and the Lord will come down and bless us with his capital H Spirit.
Roach.
And roaches.
And the roach.
And the roaches. And the roaches.
Okay, I forgot to push our button.
We'll do it in 2 and 2.
You got it! Oh my gosh! Okay, so next episode, you will hear it at the right time. But you got it on the soundboard. Good job.
I did it.
So proud of you. So proud of you.
Tell me what you got to say.
Well, so y'all know last time I was sharing how I was sick. And so I need to give you a wellness update.
Yes. Okay. Because there were some other things that happened.
Other things have happened. So I told y'all that, my throat, ear, everything was hurting. Leanna called in some amoxicillin for me. I went and picked it up. I got it. It gave me the rhea and then gave me a yeasty. Okay. Yeast infections. Does anybody else, do you get them from antibiotics sometimes?
I don't from antibiotics, but once in a blue moon.
You'll get it.
I'll feel it coming on. And that's when the herbs, I get those herbs, I stick them right up there straight away.
The herbs go inside.
The herbs go in.
Okay.
It's a capsule of herbs.
What herbs are you using?
I don't know what they are. Okay.
You never do.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Somebody said this is the herb and stick it in.
That's right. Let's do it. Okay. Well, I did not research that because I don't Google anything. So I just went and got the monostat. I did the right thing. However, before I did that, so I could kind of feel I'd taken the amoxicillin. It really wasn't helping that much with my ear and throat pain.
Yeah.
But it definitely cleared me out. And so I was at least pleased with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is when we had to go up to NC State for the home game.
Yes.
And we were going to camp that weekend. And the
camping with a yeasty? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That actually sounds like one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know. And I would like y'all's thoughts and prayers.
You have them.
Because even in retrospect, because it was really bad. It was really, really bad. What made it worse, so I had not even gotten the Monistat at this point. I had not realized that this is what was happening. I had felt a little bit of dryness, itchiness. I used my magic cream. Thought that would take care of it, and we'll move on our way. And instead, while we are there, while we are sleeping in the trailer and all the things, I was like, oh boy. Okay, I think that this has turned the corner.
It's burning.
It's burning. Like burning. Like,
There's
where
no
you just
relief.
like really get into it.
Yes.
And I had forgotten my toiletry bag in my mom's Jeep, who was staying at a campsite 30 minutes away. It's already midnight. I am miserable. Okay.
No.
Also realized that there is no bathroom at this campground.
No. Everything you're saying is getting worse and worse.
There's no campground at this bathroom, y'all.
Yeah,
I don't know where it is.
I can't.
I know.
It's midnight.
It's midnight. So we have come back from the game. The NC State game has ended at 11:15. Joshua is taking Bella back to her dorm room. I have no vehicle. My parents' campsite's 30 minutes away with my toiletry bag with what little bit of cream I can put on it. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, like, where am I going to pee? Because everywhere in this campground was an RV, so they all have bathrooms. They're all
Did you even
water.
have like a toilet paper? Or, I mean, you had a boob tissue, I guess.
Of course, always have a boob tissue. We do have toilet paper at our trailer.
Okay.
That's when we go and pop a squat.
Yeah.
However, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. We are packed in like sardines in this RV park. And
it's midnight. Like,
It's
you don't
so
want to
late.
go wandering in the woods.
No, of course not. And people are still walking back because it's right across from Carter Finley. So people are still walking through. There's nowhere for me to just pee. And all I have to do is pee because it's burning. Plus I have to pee.
Oh my gosh.
This is when I remember that years ago from IKEA, I bought what kind of looks like one of those pop-up try-on things. You know, when we go to...
Yes.
What are they called? When we go to pop-ups.
A pop-up shop.
Okay, yeah. I had said the words. When you go to those and there's like those quick little change rooms. Well, I had bought something like that at IKEA just for camping moments because my girls want to get changed in privacy.
Of course.
And the way our trailer is, you can't stand up in it. So sometimes it's hard to get dressed. So I got this and I'm like, girls, you'll be able to change in this. It'll be so convenient. Well, in my brain, I thought, I can make that into a bathroom.
Yes.
So I have to construct the whole thing. I have to find the poles, the stuff in the blah, blah, blah in my trailer, but I find it all and I am there working and building it. And all I have to do is pee so bad. But I'm like, the faster you get this done, the faster you can pee. And I build it and I realize, well, there's a floor on this thing. So I start to get scissors to cut a hole into it so I can pee into the ground. And
what is happening in this story?
This is my life. It was oddly calm.
Like, where are we going? This is insane.
I was oddly calm, y'all, because Joshua took Bella back to her dorm room. Lily was with him. So it was just me at my campsite. It was late. It's dark. There are other people around in their RVs. People are walking by from the game. But I'm just like, you can do this. Build this thing. And then you can pee in it. And I go to make the first stab.
With the scissors.
With the scissors to make a hole in the bottom so I can just pee into the ground. And then I remember I have a pot.
Another pot. 2024 will forever be the year of
the chamber pot.
The chamber pot, the pissing pot. This is where we're at. Wow. Was this like a cooking pot?
Yeah, I had a cooking pot. That's what we used, I think, earlier in the night to make the hot dogs or something.
Oh.
And so I said, I have that pot. And I stopped the stab. I literally had made the first stab with the scissors. And I said, no, I have a pot. I pulled it up. And I put my pot in there. I grabbed my toilet paper and I went in there and I relieved myself. Now, did that relieve the yeast infection? No.
I mean, when you're telling me this story, what I keep thinking about is the amount of movement you're doing, piecing this together. And when you have a yeasty, the last thing you want to be doing is moving.
Yeah, you don't want friction.
You literally want to just be as still as possible and like lay in your bed or on your couch and not move because it's the friction that makes it unbearable.
Instead, I'm at a campground.
You're at a campground building an impromptu bathroom for yourself.
Yeah, and I did it. And
okay, so you pee, but you still have the burning.
I was also in my one-piece athletic dress, so there was no way to like even move it down. Like I had to fully
get
take
naked.
It off, sit down, relieve myself in my chamber pot, put it back on. I'm so sweaty from the game. Putting it on was like putting on a wet bathing suit. But I got it on. I got it over. I took my chamber pot. I dumped the piss in the nearby tree. And then we had a little water spigot there, rinsed it out. And I put it back in knowing I would need it in a bit. And who knew when that bit would be, but I knew I would need it. And y'all, I took a picture of it and I posted it to our stories. And I said, if you know, you know.
Oh,
you missed all of it.
No, I saw that.
Oh, you saw it,
but I didn't know what was going on with that.
Yeah.
I thought, what does this mean?
I put a toilet emoji next to it. I figured, but enough people screenshot it, zoomed in, and they were like, girl, I see your chamber pot.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I think in my head I thought, is it giving porta john like when you had the diarrheas?
No. But this is, so I pee in there, you guys.
Okay.
And then I tell my family, when they come back, when they return from dropping Bella off, I'm like, I built us an entire bathroom. Oh no, Joshua dropped Bella off. This is the night he and Lily drove back from midnight to 2:45 back to Charlotte so she could go to school Friday. Remember how we talked about how she was going to skip? She felt like she couldn't skip due to a group project she was in. So he drove her back after the game.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Joshua drove Lily home. She gets home at 3 a.m. Did he turn around and come back to you?
No, he waited for her, took her to school, waited for her to get out, picked her back up from school, and then drove back up to Raleigh again that night so we could all hang out again. He drove back and forth to Raleigh 4 times last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
He came and set up the trailer on Tuesday.
I mean, he does like to drive.
He does, and he's back and forth all the time, and it doesn't bother him one bit.
Yeah.
The fact that he stays awake and he does it just so that Lily doesn't have to miss school because it was so important to her. Like, it was very sweet. So I'm alone. So I have
So all night you were alone?
All night I'm alone. I'm in the trailer alone. I, can get up and use my chamber pot as much as I need.
You had no vehicle.
I had no vehicle, so I'm just there. I'm committed there. He has our one vehicle. My parents came and picked me up at like 11 o'clock the next morning from their campsite.
Did you say, take me to an Eckerd drug?
I said, I need my toiletry bag immediately. Immediately. And here's the thing. I did want to go out and get a monostat where you kind of have to insert the whole capsule, up there. But then it kind of oozes out all day.
It does.
And we were walking around all day. We still were spending the night another night there.
And you probably didn't have any underwear.
I have no underwear, no shower. Nothing. So I'm just like, well, I guess I'm just going to continue to use the magic cream. It did enough.
Okay.
And then as soon as we got home, I was like, I'm getting yeast infection medicine immediately. And then I was much better and it healed up. And I did the 1-day treatment.
Okay. Do you feel like your ears and throat are on the mend?
No. So, well,
What's
a little
going
bit.
on?
A little bit. So then I finished the 10 days of amoxicillin. I don't feel any better. It actually starts to get worse. And then I tell Leanna, like, you need to see me. I need to come in. And I cried, y'all. I finally broke down and cried. I have not cried in this sickness yet. I broke down in her office and I cried because the pain was so acute and so weird and one I had never had before in my throat and kind of connected to my ear. She put me on a Z-Pack. She put me on a steroid and I did start to feel better, but it is still there. It still hurts to swallow.
I mean, do we think you had the COVID?
Maybe, but she said, I'm not even testing you for that because it's not presenting it as all. You haven't had a fever. This is not what the strain is doing now.
Could she see anything weird in your throat?
No. No, she could not see anything weird in my throat. And when she went to look in my ear, she's like, you have a little piece of wax blocking the ear canal. So I can't see into it as good as I'd like to.
Oh, wait. You told me about this. This is bad.
So she said, do you want us to flush your ear?
And you said yes.
I said yes.
You willingly said yes.
I feel like, how much worse can it be? I'm already in so much pain. I'm crying.
You've already cried.
Yeah, you might as well just flush this out. And maybe the wax is what's hurting. I don't know.
You're like, hurt me, daddy. Hurt me more.
Yeah. I said another one. So what they do, y'all, is they take warm water and alcohol, I believe, some sort of rinse.
Yeah.
They put it in a bottle. It's attached to a long, skinny tube. That long, skinny tube gets placed inside of your eardrum, and then they squeeze as hard as they can on the bottle, and it's trying to push that ball of wax and move it just enough so that at least she could see. And I don't think I have particularly waxy ears.
No.
It's never been a problem. I get ear infections. They can always see in, but something's going on over here.
Did that glob come out?
It did not come out, but it shifted enough that Leanna was able to see. And she's like, you don't look like you have an ear infection. You don't look like you have anything wrong with your throat.
Do you have
nothing? I don't know what's wrong. but it still hurts very bad. But I also have been
Well, people get bugs in their ears. I saw a video of this. A woman, they flushed out a spider. People get you have a holy roach in your ear. That's what it is.
It could be the roach that crawled across the guy's foot.
It is.
I don't know. I think she would have seen it in there.
But
it was just the tiniest piece. But yeah, I don't know. I am feeling better. Don't get me wrong. Like when I was on the Z-Pack and the steroid, I'm done now. It's over.
Yeah, steroids are great.
When I was on it, yes, I did feel better. And the pain has definitely lessened. But is it gone? No. I have now been for 3 weeks every time I swallow with this sharp, sharp pain. I am not pleased.
You are unwell.
I'm unwell, you guys.
I'm so sorry.
I'm unwell, but we've been having fun nonetheless. And listen, people are going to be like, you need to rest. You need to stop. That's why you can't get better. I don't know how. Like, I just, there's too much going on in life. It was Bella's 18th birthday. What? I'm not going to celebrate my daughter's 18th birthday. It was her party. No, we're not. I'm going to cancel it. We're not going to go to Giggly Squad after spending all that money on Club Giggly. I'm going to do all the things, and I will rest eventually, and I know I will get better.
You will.
Leanna's she's not afraid that it is something serious.
Yes, and
she did relieve me of that.
You're being seen by a professional.
Yes.
I think that gives some amount of comfort to say, someone is looking in.
Exactly. It's not like the old me where I just would avoid. I didn't want to know.
Yes.
Now that I have Leanna and I trust her so much and I love her and I know she cares about me and I know that she's not going to steer me wrong.
She's family.
And so
there is something to be said where you feel like with your doctor, if there's such a level of comfort that you can suggest anything, you can say whatever is on your mind. Could it be this? Could it be that? I think a lot of times in healthcare, it's like you're afraid to say, will you check this thing? Like
I was like, is it meningitis? Because I know that can present itself in the neck.
Yeah,
right.
Like you could say any outlandish thing, and she'd be like, "Sure, let's look," or "Oh no, wait, don't worry about it."
Most doctors are like, "Oh, it's COVID."
Yeah.
Oh, it is. And Leanna's like, I don't think that's what it is. And I'll test you if you want to be tested, but I'm just telling you I don't think that's what it is. I don't have tonsils, so it's
you
not
don't.
strep. Like, there's so much that we can rule out easily. I didn't get a fever at all, so it's probably not this. It's something, and I might need to do, like, total vocal rest. Like, do not say a word for multiple days.
Okay. Well, we're recording this. And
really tough.
And maybe after this you can.
Maybe I can.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, what's your number 2?
Take some time because I'm going to tell you about another scam.
Okay.
You get 1 minute of vocal rest. Okay, I told Jen Davis about this, but I thought, you know what? All of my girlies who have VRBOs, and that's what we call it, or an Airbnb, if you are someone who is renting,
yes,
I think people need to know this. Okay, there's a scam happening. So Matt discovered this on Twitter, and he's in on like the Bitcoin and the news with like cryptocurrency and all that, and you're still trying to understand.
And I can't.
Yeah, you still are. What is Bitcoin?
So crazy, so dumb. Don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah. So what happened? Somebody posted their experience that this person has an Airbnb, and they had some people come in for a long weekend. They leave. The people then, let's say a couple weeks later, get their electric bill. It's a $1,500 electric bill.
What were these people doing?
Mining Bitcoin.
No. Because we've talked about this. We've talked about, Matt's like, we could buy a computer, we could mine it. You're basically out the cost of the computer, but then all the electric.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, and I don't really know either, but I'll tell you what I can.
We'll just repeat what Matt said to us.
Yes, which is...
Matt,
how do you mine Bitcoin?
You're talking about Bitcoin, come down.
You really might.
Oh, you
might be. So when you are looking for Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is hiding out in the World Wide Web? I don't know. It's hiding somewhere.
It's hiding on the internet somewhere, I guess.
Hiding on the internet.
I don't know.
So to find a Bitcoin, you have to get these high-powered computers, these machines, and they grind and they grind. And literally, it's like they're digging in the dirt of the internet to find a Bitcoin.
It's so stupid.
But if you find that one, it's worth many, many, many thousands of dollars. So it's worth it to people to spend the money on the electric bill and the time and the energy, and it gets really hot. I mean, it's a whole thing. But then you find a Bitcoin. Okay, great.
If you find a Bitcoin.
If you find one. So what these people are doing is they are renting a VRBO for, let's say it's a cheap one. Let's say it's one that's $100 a night.
And then
they're setting up their computer for a long weekend for 3 days, and they're mining Bitcoin on that person's dime.
That is so not cool.
It is whack.
That is so not freaking cool. But it is this gray area of morality, right?
Right versus wrong.
It's a gray area because what is an appropriate amount of someone to use of your electricity when they rent your home?
Yep.
What is the appropriate amount of water to use?
Yeah.
Where does that become egregious? Too much.
It's
in this
true.
case, I would say this is completely egregious,
Yes.
right? But you go into this with the idea that anything could happen.
Yep.
And you're renting it out. And sometimes that's being destroyed by a party.
Correct.
Sometimes that is things being broken. Sometimes that's stuff being stolen. And other times it's apparently them jacking up your bill, mining for Bitcoin.
I mean, what I said to Jen is, I don't know what you have in writing with your
you need to put something like this.
But now, anybody, if y'all have a rental, you need to add this in. You need to say,
who would have
your
thought?
electricity bill should be no more than XYZ because people are out here scamming.
That is crazy. I mean, it's smart.
I mean, it is kind of smart.
It is kind of smart. But again, morally, it's
it's wrong because you know
wrong.
what you're doing. Who's
who's
lugging around their Bitcoin computer?
They're like, I just can't be without my computer.
No.
It's like, okay, your laptop maybe, but not your Bitcoin mining computer.
No.
What an interesting scam.
Yeah. So just wanted to let my podcasts know what's going on.
So put it into your rules and regulations. My parents now have their Airbnb out their Raven House in Lake Lure, and I'm going to tell them to add this.
It needs to be like a little clause in the contract.
And they have a property management company, so maybe they could tip them off to let all of their properties know this.
Yes, seriously.
Okay. This is crazy.
Okay, tell me your last.
This is also crazy.
Okay.
So I came across a reel, and it was a teacher, and she was like, I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I'm going to count the amount of times my name is said or a question is asked to me. So her name is said or a question is asked to her, and someone had given her just like this little ring that you can put on, and it's a clicker. Oh. It's just a little counter. Okay. So you know how you see the people when you're walking into something?
Yeah.
Well, it's even smaller, and it was just like a little ring, and you could
she could tap
it. Super discreet. Didn't distract her at all, but she was just able to. What do you think the number was? How many times kindergartners again said her name or asked her a question? What do you think the number was in one day by the end of the day?
Okay. I want to say, it's got to be over 100. We're over 100 by a lot. Oh my gosh.
She was over 100 in the first 30 minutes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have this reel saved?
I hope so.
Okay, because I really want to.
I'm going to try to dig in.
Okay. Over 100. I mean, 500?
627. 627.
Well, this is why I cannot be a teacher.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because even
this is the number one reason.
This is it.
This is the number one reason.
This is it for me too.
I know.
Because and God bless Lachlan, and I love that child to death. But I do hit a limit. Some days, not every day, but some days, it gets to 7:30 p.m. And I look over at him and I say, "You cannot say my name or ask me one more question, bud." Mm-mm. And he knows. You know, he understands.
He's funny. He's like, oh, I know.
Yeah, he's like, okay. He knows it's been too much. 600 plus.
627 times, she said, by the end of the day. And her point of making the reel is,
God bless.
I love being a teacher and I love your children, and this is my vocation. This is my calling. But when teachers say they are exhausted at the end of the day, it is because they are so what's the word I'm going for? They're so.
It's not touched out. It's like it's you're drained. You're physically drained.
Sensory overload.
Yeah.
The word I'm going for. They're so overloaded by this sensory. The kids are saying, Mrs. Miller, can I have this? Mrs. Miller, can you do this? Mrs. Miller, can you hold
my
this?
brain
Mrs.
could not
Miller,
do it.
Can you put on my jacket? Mrs. Miller, can you tie my shoe? Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Miller.
No.
It gives me like heart palpitations to even think about someone needing so much from me verbally. Like I just no, like I can't, and like my brain can't handle that much sensory overload. Like, it's crazy.
And y'all think about a lot. I'm going to say majority maybe of these teachers are moms.
Yes, so they're already getting it.
So they're coming
too.
home
Yes.
at 4 p.m.
And then having to answer all the household questions from their children, from their husband.
Teachers need to be studied. They especially if you are in that kindergarten, first grade, like younger ages where it is a lot of questions and it is a lot of needing. I don't know how they do it. I don't.
They're peppered with noise. They're peppered with noise.
Like that.
And that's my nightmare. To be peppered with noise.
Y'all, I don't know if we have fully fleshed that out here, but
I don't think so.
neither one of us likes unnecessary
sounds, noises, anything like that. I won't let my kids make them.
Yeah.
And they know it.
If a kid is like, just kicking a table, just over and over, a repetitive sound like that.
Making something out of their mouth.
Yeah. Just clicking on something over and over and over. Just la, 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 la. Just, we can't do.
Bop, 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 bop. My nephew Aiden, when he would live with me, bop, 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 no. He's very gifted. He has a great ear for notes and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I would say to Aiden, I'd say, I'm so sorry. I want to encourage you in this way. I really do. I know that you're great at music. And if you want to be a DJ or you want to put some stuff together, like I get that. But you cannot just walk around and make unnecessary noise. So let's find a time where you can do that by yourself. I'll make sure that you can go in my bedroom.
Yes.
Because, it was tight. There were a lot of people living there.
That's true.
You can go in my bedroom. You can go in my closet, whatever.
You can stick them in your toilet room.
Yeah, in the chamber pot.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. But you cannot just in the car be doing that.
No.
There's too much. There's 6 children. I can't, because if everybody's allowed to make unnecessary noise and it's all happening at the same time, I will run this car off the road because my brain can't handle it.
I will fully just shut down. And I think that does sometimes happen to me. I don't feel that I'm like a sensory person. I don't think that I'm like a HSP or, where it's just like, oh, I can't handle it. Because again, I like the clubs. I like lights. I like music.
We would have loved it.
We would have loved it. But there's a time and a place.
Yes.
And so if it's, 3 p.m. on a Monday and I'm just hearing tippity tap 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 pop pop diddle pop pop woo 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 woo. I can't.
I can't.
I can't. And maybe some of y'all are saying, well, that's part of being a mom. It doesn't have to be.
No.
It actually doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. And that was something we established in our household very early on, that you can talk. You can make normal conversation.
Yeah.
You can ask me all the things. I'm going to tell you all the answers. But just unnecessary noise, no, we're not going to do that. And I would just say, hey, we don't make unnecessary noise here. And they'd be like, okay. And it's not like my kids are like little wallflowers or something and they are scared to say anything.
No,
they talk constantly. But it's more just unnecessary noise. Yes, we're not kicking a ball against a wall. No. We're not doing that.
No.
You can go outside and I will find a place for you to do everything to your heart's desire.
Yes.
But it's not going to be near me.
Yes. No. And I'm not one, and some people do this and it's great for them, but I'm not one to put on my AirPod Maxes
right.
and tune out everybody in my house.
No.
I don't do that.
No.
And I know some people need to, and if you have 18 children and you need to do that, please do. But for me, I'm like, well, I still want to be with my family.
Yes.
I'm still trying to interact.
I don't even let my kids keep both in at the same time, and they've never been allowed to keep both in at the same time.
Okay, I'm so glad you said this. I just had this conversation with Tinsley.
Everyone in my family knows this.
I don't like
allowed
that.
one AirBod in. If you are wanting to listen to something, I understand that you are allowed to.
Yeah.
Again, when we have many in our house, you are allowed. One, your door stays open.
Yep.
Even if you want to get changed or whatever, but for the most part, keep the door open. If I need to shout up to you, you need to be able to hear me. And this 100%. Is what I always tell them. You need to be able to hear me, whether that's a request I need to make of you to call you down for dinner. Maybe there's an emergency.
That's right.
I need to be able to immediately get in touch with you and you be able to hear me. So your door is going to stay open, that's minus, right. Closed changing times and privacy times. And then one AirBod in the ear.
Yes.
If it even needs to be. But if you're in your own room with no one else, I don't understand why you need an AirBod at all.
You don't.
So guess what? It's 0 then.
Yep.
But if we are amongst other people and if there's something specific you want to be listening to, if we're in the car on the road trip and you both want to be listening to your music, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you're one AirBod in. Because we are going to talk in this vehicle amongst each other.
Yes, we are. I literally last night, Tinsley was going up the stairs and I could see both were in. And she had just come from her room. So the first thing I said is, I don't know what this is doing to your brain. And so like, can we just cool it on the earbuds if you're in your room? Because why do you need them in your room?
Right.
You know
you're alone in your room. Just
in your
listen
room.
to your device out loud unless it's something you don't want me to hear.
Correct.
So then why not?
Why? We don't need to be like secretive. And not that she is, but I'm like, it's giving like that you're really trying to tune us out. And I don't like that.
I don't like that.
And then I've said the same thing. If we're in the car and you're listening to audiobooks, she's really into that right now.
Sure.
That's fine. But can we just do the one?
Only the
Can
one.
we just do the one?
Only the one. And
I'm not putting on my headphones, tuning y'all out. I could.
I only put one in. If I am editing, if I'm making a reel, if I am, or even something as simple as I've recorded a story, but I saved it for later and then I want to go upload it. I'll pop an earbud in so I can see like, what were we saying in the background?
Yeah.
Before I upload this.
That's smart.
So sometimes because I can't always hear it like this, I'll pop an earbud in, but I will only ever have one in. When we were, when the Olympics were going on our road trip, and it was the bronze medal match.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin was playing in the bronze medal match, and we were in the like Natural History Museum. I had one earbud in so I could hear what was going on.
I love that. You're in the Natural History Museum.
Yes,
Like half of your brain is here and half
is.
your brain is in
So I'm
the
listening.
Olympics.
I have it up on my phone because we're walking through and we're wanting to still see like it was coming down to the last point.
Yes.
And I'm like, everybody stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
Took my earbud out so we could hear because up to that point I was like, it's 15:17.
You were updating.
It's 18:15, you know, and I was updating. Finally, when I got to like 23, whatever, I said, I'm going to take my earbud out and we're all going to watch this right here, like underneath the whale hanging from the ceiling. And I said, we're going to watch it all together. And so in certain moments I will, but no, never. I don't know that I've ever had both in at the same time.
So the question is, do the teachers feel the need to sometimes do this? I mean, okay. So what did this teacher say? She gives you the number. Okay, we're at 6:20.
She was like, I think it would surprise people because that you think like, oh, we're just teaching all day long. We're instructing, we're talking at them.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're talking to us
Right.
so much. And when I say that, like, I am exhausted when I get home, it's not because it's hard to cut out shapes and teach them the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. It is because I am so exhausted by the constant questions and people saying my name.
Yes.
Over and over and over again. And she said, and I still do it and I love it and I will continue to be a teacher, but it's just something to let parents know.
Yes.
And what I would say as a parenting teachable moment here is that I do think that there is something to be said about if you do have children who are saying your name often. Mm-hmm. What I always told my kids is you get to say mom one time. You get to say it one time. And if I do not immediately say yes, whether it's shouting down to me or we're across the room from each other or we're at a party and you're trying to get my attention, you get to say it one time. And if I'm in a place where I can interrupt myself or stop myself where I'm alone and I can go, yeah, babe, what's up? Or I can shout up to you, then we can continue to talk that way.
But they don't get to go, mom, mama, mother.
Absolutely not.
Mom.
You come at that point, we've gotten our first chance.
Yeah.
At that point, me not responding is me saying, I'm busy and I'm in the middle of something and now you need to come to me.
That's right.
So walk your butt down the stairs.
Yep.
And you come up to me in the kitchen or wherever I am and you say, hey, and then we will have an entire conversation.
Yep.
But if you expect that what you need from me trumps what I'm doing for myself.
Yes.
No.
No.
I think there's a mindset to be learned there.
It's a respect thing.
It is.
We've taught Lachlan and he's doing so good at it where, because I do not like being interrupted. If I'm sitting here chatting with you and my kid comes up and just starts talking, it just fries my brain.
Me too.
And so he comes up, he puts a hand on my arm. He puts his hand there. I cover his hand with my hand.
That means I see you.
I know you're there, buddy. I know you're right next to me. I feel you. Let me finish my sentence to Miss Miranda, and then I will acknowledge you. And that's what we do. And it's
taught
beautiful.
the same thing. It's so beautiful to do, and it's so respectful.
Yes,
because it shows respect to you, to the other person, and ultimately it teaches them self-control.
Yes.
And so we need children to have self-control. And so the kids who are saying this teacher's name so many times and asking so many questions, what that's telling me, and I get it, you're in kindergarten, and this is a
it's almost like a mob mentality.
Yeah.
They're all doing it.
They're all doing it.
There's 20 something kids, and they're all needing her attention.
Yes, but if you can be the parent who at home is saying, you don't get to just shout my name and I come running.
Right.
And you teach that from 2 years old and 3 years old and 4 years old, then by the time they go to kindergarten, they are going to be so much better in that classroom for that teacher. And don't you want to have that kid?
Yeah.
Don't you want that kid in the classroom instead of that kid in the classroom? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like, my mom was a teacher, but again, she was in high school. That's a very different age group.
Yeah.
I feel like if I would really have to implement some rules about raising the hand, not just saying my name over and over.
Sure.
But just let's maybe put the hand up. I'll come to you. I don't know. I don't know how y'all keep control of all these kids. It's
maybe Elizabeth could tell us. She's a teacher. Michelle could inform us what she did because Elizabeth's on the younger side.
She's on the younger side. She could really tell us.
And then Michelle's on the older side. And I think
this is a great opportunity for me to tell y'all something.
Finish us up here.
I haven't told you that.
Oh, great.
Okay, so y'all know we had the HoHo.
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to say Elizabeth should call in. Here's what y'all are going to do now. Okay. There's no more HoHo. What I have now is if you go to our Instagram page and you go to our links, you will see where it says leave us a message.
Oh.
Okay? Y'all are going to click on that link to leave us a message. It's going to take you to a web page where you're going to record that on your phone. It's going to let you listen back.
Oh, great.
It's going to let you delete and start over if you want to.
Okay.
It's going to give you, I think, again, it's like a 2-minute max, but it's going to show you how long you've been talking.
Okay.
Much, much, much more user-friendly.
Love that.
It is also free.
Great. We love free.
And we love free.
Were we spending money on the HoHo?
We were spending about $41
a month.
a month.
Oh, my God.
It had gone up. I know. Heart attack city. It's
we are just hemorrhaging money.
I just take them to court, electric chair. I cannot.
I can't.
And I said, surely there's a service where they will let us do this. People just to leave us voice notes, basically. And sure enough, there was.
Great.
So I did finally think after we spent, hundreds on this over the past year. But Elizabeth, maybe you can be our number one.
Our first one.
First one to call in, leave us a voice message. And we would love to hear, are you number one being asked a lot of questions in the classroom? Are they saying your name a lot? And do you have a cool technique or something that you do to kind of limit that a little bit? I would be real curious
because that needs to happen. And I bet this teacher will get to that. Yeah. This was obviously very early into I just saw it last week. So early into the year.
Yeah, the school
early into the year. And I'm sure she will be limiting that. And maybe it's even one of those things where on the last day of school, she'll do it again and see how much maybe it's gone down just from the fact that she's been able to teach them some lessons and implement this.
I would love to see that.
Parents out there, please do not just let your kids bark your name and say mom, 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 and interrupt and everything, because they eventually do that to teachers too. You can start at home and make it easier for yourself. That's what's important. Make it easier for you.
Yes.
It all for me, it was just like, I can make it easier for me. And sometimes that is being a little bit of a hard ass, but it is. It pays off for everybody in the long run and teaches your kids self-control, and that will pay off tenfold in the rest of their lives.
That's it. And now, y'all, before we go, Thursday, we have a very special episode coming.
Yes, we do. We are interviewing Lindsay Rush, who is the brain behind Mary Oliver's Drunk Cousin, the Instagram account. Y'all have sent us so many of her posts.
Yes. I love that handle, Mary Oliver's Drunk Cousin.
Yes, I can't wait to get into it with her.
I know
a little bit of the background, but I'm excited to hear from her. But yeah, she has put out a new book. It's called A Bit Much.
And it's out today, you guys.
Yeah.
It literally came out today as y'all are listening to this. So you can go order it now.
Yeah. And I can't wait to read it. It's a book of poems, but not stuffy poems.
No.
Poems that you can easily digest and read and relate to.
Yes. They're funny.
Yeah.
It's
really
quirky.
Funny.
She's a mom. She's a a woman. And it speaks to a lot of things that we talk about on here. So we're very, very excited to bring y'all that interview on Thursday. Y'all can look forward to that.
Yeah. Her book came out today. So go ahead and buy it. And we've been talking about it on our Instagram, of course, and linking it and things. So some of y'all probably already pre-ordered it, but today's the day you can buy it and get it sooner than later.
I feel like it would also make a good gift.
Such a good
Stuff
gift.
like that, because it's sometimes well, would I buy this thing for myself? But a book of poetry, especially for women kind of in our age group, I just love that. You can keep it on your coffee table.
Pick it up, read a couple. It's not, and there's not the pressure of buying a whole book and
novel.
I'm gonna read it start to finish. It's like, I'm going to pick it up, read a couple of poems, digest them, put it back down, pick it back up again. And
she's got a great community online too. So it's like kind of, same types of women that you can chat with on there. So I love that too.
Yeah. And we'll tell you in the episode how we landed the interview in general. So that's really exciting too for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys like it. So it will be Thursday's episode will be the interview with her. So we won't be doing the wow. Well, maybe we could.
We could do a wow with her.
We'll do a wow. We'll put her on the spot.
That's another great idea. You are full of great ideas lately.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. To be continued, you guys.
To go?
The rooms to go. See y'all soon.